Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL finals. We are in the winner bracket finals, so we're going to play a best of 3. Winner is going to be representing Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia in the FSL Elite Tournament later in September this year. But for now, we are in picks and bans, and let's get to it. You see 2 bans coming in from both sides already. Zoe Yorick versus Steve Malzahar and Zoe.
Want me to wait while you go
do
get
it
them?
indeed. I think what we can see from Knightress right now, they have been watching, they have been doing their research, so they're banning away all the important compositional picks that Top 10 DINO has shown throughout the day.
I think Poppy isn't a strategic ban. It's more of a we don't want to play against that champion because that ruins our day, so we are going to ban it away. Right now, if you are Dinos, you either ban out the Jarvan or Sejuani. I feel like that's the okay. Sivir's not bad too. Right now, then you end up playing sort of flip of a coin, depending which champion you want to get. Either Jarvan or Sejuani, I think, is the prio here.
Yeah, you take away the Sivir, I think the remaining top tier AD carries will default back to Xayah and Kai'Sa, I think.
Yeah, Kai'Sa has been super highly contested by the top 10 Dino side, so it will be the Jarvan. I think no surprise here, the response might just be the Kai'Sa Nautilus coming through. Kai'Sa Nautilus, though, you could answer with Xayah Rakan, so I think if you are top 10 Dinos, you have to be very respectful of that threat.
They're going to see it nonetheless, but oh man, I think we're going to see another Jarvan Sejuani game. It's going to be so fun.
Here you need to do Xayah Rakan, or you pick a safe lane, like Nico, like Cannon, something to get you through that early deficit in draft, because on blue side you're showing your lanes a bit more, so a flex pick is going to be very much more powerful here.
Yeah, Morgana is not exactly the current meta, but right now Leona locked in is gonna be, that strong front line that brings protection and the engage, something that you could use for the Varus pick right now.
So this is like fighting fire with fire, right? You do Varus Leona, it's like saying your level 2 is good, but we could return with a good deal of damage as well. And at level 6, both teams have the capabilities of all-inning. Ari here will be locked away by Elma. It was banned out the previous game, I believe, against Dino, so it is up for contention this time and will be locked in.
Yep, 100%. I think if you take a look at Knightress' composition right now, you can actually see it is the makings of a pick comp. Obviously, you have the Varus, you have the Leona, very high-ticket ultimates that can find you those interesting situations where you can pick someone off. So they know what they want to go for. You have the Jarvan supplement there. I think that's something you can go for.
Why would you ban Orianna when you do have the Ahri, though, is the question. Because Ahri is most likely going to be in the mid lane here, unless there's some sort of shenanigans afoot. I think Ahri has a decent matchup into Orianna, so it doesn't make sense to me that they are going to prio that ban coming in. Sejuani is the smart ban from the side of Knightress. I think now it seems like they've done their homework just a little bit, knowing that the top 2 junglers in this tournament have been Jarvan and Sejuani.
Yep, no Sejuani allowed. Remaining tier 1 jungler is going to be the Skarner. Aatrox locked away, so we have seen him being very oppressive in the previous few games, so I think this is a smart ban.
Yeah, if you ban away the Skarner here, it forces all the tier 1 champions out, apart from the Sylas. I think the Sylas ban is actually more important than the Skarner, but as Bobby has not been observed playing the Sylas at all this tournament, Ornn instead will come in through to take that away from Urif this tournament.
Yeah, your Ornn has been that sort of champion where if you don't give him much attention from either jungler, he does okay, but once you begin to introduce enemy junglers in there, he begins to fall off because he can't stand up to the pressure in the early game.
That's 100% correct. Coming through, looking at the next pick. Yeah, there we go. So the idea of a flex pick here is not so much a flex because Nico is guaranteed to go to the top side. I think they were channeling or forcing Urif to move into that Nico because she's only played sort of like 3 champions today, right? It's been that Nico, that Yorick, as well as that Ornn. They've banned out 2. The last one is going to be Nico, and it's actually really easy to abuse if you know how to counterpick this champion.
Right, it's actually going to be that Urgot Hover should be locked in here, so it's going to be a range versus range right now. Honestly, I think if Nico is able to stay away from the Ornn during the raid, wait, hang on.
Could
be Fiora.
I think this is like a BM thing. They're hovering the Fiora because Urif got absolutely decimated by the Fiora in Go Gamer. Yeah, it's more of a joke thing, but right now they will lock in the Syndra in the mid lane against Ahri. Once again, a skill matchup. Whoever hits the CC first is gonna go and find themselves a kill in the lane.
No, if we continue with the point on the top side, I think Nico actually has the advantage if she's able to stay away and play the lane out safely, because Urgot actually has, I think, lesser range than the typical AD carry. So Nico, if she's able to find those snares and stuns, she should be able to win out this lane.
The problem is it comes back to the same issue. Oh, Kayn here for Sbobby. She did play it in Girl Gamer against Asterix. Didn't do too well, but eventually they did find themselves at a 1-2 loss, coming in second in the tournament. The Nico here against the Urgot has the same problem as a Nico against Aatrox. The moment you burn Flash, you are very susceptible to getting all in, especially against Urgot who has that access to Fear Beyond Death.
Alright. Currently though, we're waiting for Urif and Vortex to switch champions. It's just shouldn't exactly be Kai'Sa top, but
look at the Nitrous composition though. It does seem like it's in line with what they tend to play, the primary win condition and the secondary win condition that we always bring up. The idea of the ability to make picks but also team fight is here.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is a very potent composition if you want to look for picks like we already alluded to earlier. Varus, Leona and Jarvan can look for those picks. Urgot just with the ultimate can be that threat from even a screen away.
The important part now is when it comes to these team fights, you have to short call your targets properly, right? If you split your damage and you don't find a Fear Beyond Death, you straight up lose because then you don't get the deletion from Syndra, you don't get the Fear Beyond Death reset in the fight. And when I say reset, it's not a literal reset, it's the fear that forces everyone to regroup, right? These are tools that you need to call out and make use of if you want to win the game. On the other side, it's a mishmash of what they are looking to do. They don't have a true tank, remember this. Nautilus is not a true tank, neither is Kayn in red form even, right? So they're going to have to juggle the aggro properly and at least be super careful about their spacing.
That's a great point, I think, if you want to talk about Nitrous. One thing you have to notice is that they don't have a lot of AoE damage, which is what you said earlier. So, the target selection is going to be the main issue for them. Meanwhile, on top 10 Dino side, you have... You said it earlier, you have to balance the damage properly, and I think that cannot be understated right now because...
I would actually go so far as to say Nico should play AP for the teamfight power because your composition right now has no clear primary or secondary win condition.
Right.
Ideally, it's Kai'Sa late game scaling, but there isn't anyone that can buy space for her because when you have late game scaling champions, you need mid shields for you to block. You need someone to frontline for you. There's nothing to dissuade people like Jarvan, people like Urgot, and just jumping the backline, Leona as well, right? So you want the AP Nico, I think, with the Pop Blossom to set this area control, area denial 2 down for you to have some space down.
I think the main way that you find advantages in the early game if you are top 10 Dino right now is again through Aylema has been this pop-off carry for her team throughout this entire tournament really. Now placed on the Ahri, we've seen her be able to jump in, jump out as that she knows when she can jump in and jump out. So on the Ahri, that's definitely something you can do. Look for picks with the charm, can be very influential, very effective in this game.
Look at the summoner spells coming in though. There is no teleport on neither Kai'Sa nor Varus, so they're going to be extended laning phases in the bot lane. And when you look at extended laning phases, the question you always ask is whether the jungle can impact this, because they're not going to cheat recalls, they're not going to come back and teleport back into the lane with item advantages. So the longer you stay, the more dangerous it is when the Jarvan comes down or the Kayn comes down. And I have to give the advantage over to the Jarvan when these ganks come through just because of how much more reliable the CC is in the lane to guarantee that the gank goes through, especially now that they're on blue side. If you push up on red, you can be ganked through the river, but of course it is slightly safer on the red if you are the ADC.
100%. Okay, of course can come with those go through the wall and look for an interesting gank path, but I do agree Varus Leona does have a lot more CC, hard CC, reliable CC for those sorts of ganks,
especially at level 6, right? When you're looking at the Chains of Corruption from Varus, you point and click on Kai'Sa, you follow it up with a Solar Flare. She didn't take cleanse, she's dead, Yeah,
that's the respect thing, right? We want to see in game if she's able to execute that respect, because if you don't, like you say, it's just gonna get popped. Once you see Varus Leona hit level 6, you back off. You don't want to take that fight because it's gonna be so dangerous for you that you just cannot risk it, honestly.
If you're super greedy about making these picks in the late game or the mid game stages, right, you could just go Lethality Varus. The moment you lock someone up, you should just use your piercing arrow and pop them, but in this case, in the loading screen, we do see it is a lethal tempo Varus for the late game scaling, so at least they have some sort of insurance now if the game goes on, right? At least Taney's Varus can get to a point of Bladeor King and Gwynsu's to deal with the back line, but the problem is, no real tanks to speak of. The value is very much diminished when you move into Bladeor King and Gwynsu's lethal tempo Varus, so I would have preferred the lethality Arcane Comet build.
Not sure if you saw, but at the moment, Kai'Sa does have, sorcery secondary tree, probably running absolute focus again. So against this composition, I don't think that is something that you want to. You cannot go for those sorts of dives. And now that you're in the finals, it just gets harder and harder. So if even if you're able to get away with it in the previous game, that might not be necessarily true for this one.
Thing about absolute focus in this case, it would make sense though, because if you get caught by anyone, you're going from 100 to 0, right? So you either make use of the mastery or you don't. There's no middle ground anymore, right? So the value of that is pretty much same as the previous game, all in value. Can all in now, hold on here. Speaking of all in, Vayne coming in with the dredge line, not finding the target will mean that they get out, and the ward will see them exiting, and a reverse ward around the crux should give them information of this invade. Meanwhile, Tierney doesn't want to sit here for all too much longer as the rest of her opponents stream in.
Okay, just a little dangerous. Exchange of wards, exchange of information, as on the top side you can see Urgot is actually in the enemy jungle, just probably going to place down another ward of their own.
Right now they don't know if anyone stuck around the red buff. Sounds weird, but yeah, they don't know if there's anyone around the red buff right now, so they have to be careful about their positioning. Just pay attention to this red buff right now. Don't move off, because it's going to be super important how they place the rest of the vision on the map. So you see 3 members here, then you know Jarvan's starting here. You don't know where the enemy started, but you only have a war on the Raptors.
Well, yeah, they do see that, so they know where the Jarvan is starting, and with the ward in the top side, Nitrous should also understand that Kayn is going to be starting blue buff.
The Raptors ward super important against Kayn though, because there is this cheese start you can do on Kayn where you start Raptors and then move to the rest of the camps, but this time we'll start blue and then move over. Should be spotted the moment she arrives.
Yep, not much to see here. Actually, we might be seeing something interesting going in the bot lane area, I think. That was a bit of a trade, but nothing really came out of that.
Level 2 is going to be hit first by the Kai'Sa and Nautilus because they do have a small lead on this wave. You can see through auto attacks they actually have a small push going, and Catherine Rain is doing a good job shoving the wave up. I have to be careful about your positioning when the level 2 comes in. You can see Varus is just sitting in between the minions, doesn't want to get caught by a dredge line, so you have to respect the engage potential coming through. And level 2 already hit, so now they go all in onto the Nautilus, the Ignite being burned as well, and they flash in. A lot of summoner spells being blown, but the piercing arrow not finding its target means that Nautilus gets out. They trade 2 summoner spells for 2 there. And the Varus flash is more crucial, I would think.
Yep, definitely. The Varus flash is going to be very crucial. Now can be communicated towards the Kayn, maybe coming in for another gank. But as it stands, one thing I want to draw attention to was that Jarvan was actually spotted going from Crux to the Raptor camp. So now they do have vision over the enemy jungler. They should understand that he's going towards top side now.
Yeah, but because they saw the Kayn on the top side, there's a window for the Varus Leona to all in. Taney and Migi knew that, well, Kayn coming in bot side now. They went for the all-in right there, and you know the timings. If Kayn has half top, that it's going to be another minute and a half before she arrives back into the bot lane to gank you, so that's the window you want to play safe in.
Let's talk about this mid lane though, because at the moment we see Ahri's pushing up against the Syndra, but I do believe that once Syndra gets, her first item, I think she is going to have more damage, beginning to scale further than the Ahri.
So the wave clear from the Syndra is more reliable. You can definitely one-shot the backline at level 9. With the Lost Chapter, however, Ahri is a bit more questionable sometimes. You see Ahri players with all of Deception being unable to clear the range creeps in one go. That being said, because there is no cleanse on the Syndra, she has to be very careful about her positioning. Oh, not coming through with the walk back into the lane. Instead, we're going to be using the teleport. A very odd choice there coming through from the top laner.
Yeah, I mean, the wave was pushing towards you, and you did have ample time to walk up, so I'm not exactly sure what to try and do here, but we see a gank at the bot side.
Yep, very well evaded, knowing that the gank timing was coming through. Remember, I said 1.5 minutes. This is around the period where Kayn would have come in for the gank in the bot lane.
Yeah, instead he's just going to take the Rift Scuffle, so that's going to be a bit of information going towards the side of top 10 DINO as they secure a bit more vision around the dragon.
That ward actually pretty good in terms of spotting out whether Kayn is going to be, whether the Jarvan is going to be around the area. You can see the Raptor buff ward, and this allows Kayn to go in and sneak Raptors every time it's up because they know when the Jarvan has pathed away.
As a matter though, as Tian actually just going to go top side here.
Looking to come in for the gank, but the body double being used, and now under turret. Oof, almost got caught by the root. Would have been disastrous if Tian got caught out, but good deal of damage back across the press the attack, doing some work there. Wave streaming in the bot side. They have to play a bit more defensively, knowing that Kayn could possibly come in for a regank soon.
Yeah, at the moment, the threat from Nautilus, Kai'Sa is definitely pushing back this bot lane as, again, The Varus doesn't have flash, so definitely these two have to play very safe in this lane.
Window coming in. Kane is up to regank this. Instead, we'll find the Croc camp, I believe, on the side. Yeah, there you go.
Probably gonna wait for the wave to bounce. I don't think if after taking this Croc camp, he's not gonna have much of a window to gank unless they go for a dive, which I think is pretty ill-advised at the moment since both Varus and Leona are at full health, and Leona does have a lot of CC at this point.
The minions are coming in, so this is frozen at a point where they could force it if they want to.
Okay.
Sort of a misplay coming through from the Kai'Sa to auto-attack the wave and push it up. If it was frozen there was a window for Kane to come in for the gank, so it's Vortex misplaying the bot lane. Meanwhile, coming in with the Ignite as well as the Spirit Rush Clawy, taking a good deal of damage, had to pop the barrier in response to the Ignite. 1-for-1 summoner trade in the mid lane overall, not too bad, but you burn the ultimate from the Ahri, and that buys you a bit more safety for now.
Yeah, for now, but you see, Ahri does have significantly less mana than the Syndra right now, so one might think that Syndra will have the ability to just camp down in this lane and wait for the... Oh, never mind, there we go.
The deal of damage down and the Plasma procs already active on the Leona, but remember that with the W, the Eclipse, she actually takes mitigated damage from auto attacks as well as passives, so we'll walk out of that one pretty healthy still.
Yeah, Tian was actually ready to back
Why
up
didn't she?
them, but... Oh, now she's going for the ward. Alright.
That makes sense. I was wondering why she didn't clear the control ward out. That made no sense because you have bot lane prio and you have full information of this bottom half of the map. Maybe just a bit of a mistake coming through, wasn't looking at the screen.
Probably just checking the pixel brush to make sure no one was actually going to ambush her when she tries to take that ward.
But even then, you have bot lane prio, right? So if they ambush you, you immediately turn and wait for your bot lane to arrive first, and you guarantee a kill. So yeah, it's more of a careless mislip there than anything. Just not looking at her screen.
It's fine, it's a ward. I mean, right now though, there is the ward for Tian, the zombie ward rather. So they do have information over the dragon. It's Ocean Drake, so if you take it early, it actually has more benefit. I think we're getting to that point where both teams won't really need to prioritize it that much.
Bobby now moving to take the top side, Scuttle Crab, and she's up in CS, but the outstanding issue is that she hasn't gotten any stacks on her passive. When you play Kane, you want to go consistently into lanes to harass people down, not even look for kills, just harass people to get passive stacks. The ideal window to go for your Kane evolve is always 13-14 minutes in, and if you're any later, it's always a problem for you to enter team fights because default Kane literally does nothing, especially in the mid game fights.
Yeah, we actually saw Kane in the Vietnam qualifiers. I think that back then he wasn't actually, like you said, she didn't manage to get the transform until super late
16-17 minutes transform was the timing on that one.
Yeah, and at that point, since you're on an assassin, you have to have damage, but at that point you really didn't. So that was a huge deficit for, whoever played it.
Yeah, here we go on the all-in. Not really hitting the dredge line though. It's gonna suck here. Vayne having to back out, overcommitting just a little bit. On the mid lane, Chloe gonna eat an Orb of Deception and get chunked out. Chen coming in here, sneaking in. Flag and Drag is available. They're caught shopping, but the dredge line pulls her in. Now she's in a world of pain, having to flash out. Great killer instinct in. Now they need to turn the damage onto Vortex. The root is enough, but she finds the first blood first. Meanwhile, on the top side, a kill coming through. The Kane finally hitting the lanes and making the ganks happen. Top 10 dinos. 2-1 is the kill score, and they will find themselves a hitting gold as well.
Yeah, Ken, you can't actually go for those without the ultimate. I mean, when you're Jarvan and you're level 5, you don't have as much damage. You just farm up and wait until you have your Cataclysm. At that point, maybe she thought Vortex and Vayne were a little low enough so that she could go in, but at the end of the day, that was not the case.
Mistake after mistake there because she overcommitted. Now they will lose a lot of turret plates on the top side. 2 plates at least to the Nico and Kane. Had she just stayed around and let them recall properly, they could have gotten a lot of turret plates in the bottom half with a big wave coming in.
Yeah, Chloe's actually hitting that point where she can just sit there and wave clear with her orbs, so we should begin to see Chloe push up that lane in favor of Nitrous at the moment. Yeah.
Alright, the blue buff now should be... Oh, not donated over well. She has the Lost Chapter, it doesn't hurt, but I would have liked to see blue buff on the Syndra instead, so she can just consistently push the wave out. Now she's gonna get zoned away every time the Ahri walks up, and that's the initiative on the charm.
Yep, gotta be careful right now. You can see that Kai'Sa and Nautilus have actually roamed up towards the mid lane. Not gonna find much since they were spotted out by the ward and the wave was pushing towards Syndra, so just gonna have to walk back to lane. Actually gonna pick up the Rift Scuttle on the way.
Dredge line will knock the shield off the Rift Scuttle and give them a very easy take on this objective. Not even gonna donate it over. ADC says, thank you for 122 gold. Now, because they got a kill and first blood there, Vortex has already hit the mana immune timing, and they were sitting in the bot lane for quite a while, right? No TP means no cheat recalls, means on your instant buy you get a core item. However, Varus slightly behind, did not get the first blood gold, and down in, behind in terms of item curves. Only has the Bilge Water Cutlass as well as the Luna's Hurricane, I want to say Recurve Bow, yes.
Right, at the moment, Urif has actually gotten the item advantage for herself right now, so is able to push out the Orgot into back on the tower at the moment. There's a bit of a bullying at the top side.
Yeah, because of the early gank as well, being able to push in and pressure out the top half. The strong side of the map now belongs to Nico in the top because of the early gank, as we said. Kane's still looking for her evolve, not really there yet. I can't really see how many stacks she has on her passive just yet, because
purple bar. No, that's her level.
Yeah, that's the EXP, right? So it's really hard to see in spectator mode how much stacks she has, but still quite a ways away. 11 minutes in only. Chen, meanwhile, looking for the flank. They land the Chains of Corruption and a knockup as well, and the Cataclysm. She's gonna use the Amortras path to buy some space, and now the aggro on the dragon is on the Jarvan rather, who does not want to be there. The Void Seeker is gonna get the kill, and now this is an all-out fight. The Pop Blossom is gonna find 3 members as top 10 dinos race in. Here comes the rest of the team to get picked up. I think this is a lost cause here. There's nothing that you should be doing in this fight. Just sacrifice the Leona, back off. Chloe gets 1 exit kill at least on the support, but overall they will lose 4 members on that very over-aggressive engage.
Yep, top 10 dino is a amazing response to that initial gang. I think when the Kayn was picked up, I think they understood that, hey, the Kayn's very slippery. You can't get out of this situation. You can just go back in and look for a few more kills, and they do manage to pick up 4 and the dragon.
Because there was a control ward there, I believe. We can't really see it. Can we? Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Ready to be Shadow Assassin. That's great. That's the timing window that you want. 12 minutes for your evolve. She might just sacrifice this and just say, you know what? I want the red evolve instead.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Going for the Shadow Assassin evolve instead.
Yep, which means that she is going to be able to, you know, pop targets much easier. The Shadow Assassin is, like the name says, an assassin build instead of Red Kayn, which is more of a bruiser. So, gonna have to be very careful. Our Nitrous, if they walk into any dark jungle paths.
There are only 2 targets for the Kayn to go for, though. It's only the Syndra as well as the Varus that can be assassinated. The other 3, you don't really want to go all in on. And because of that, though, the dragon sort of skirmish. Urif is going to find herself a hit even more, completing the Blade of the Ring King 2-0-2 on that Nico.
Yep, Nitro's actually trading back with a few turret plates at the bot side now, trying to go for the Rift Scuttle, but
a lot of damage down onto Qian. She's probably going to die here. Amortras is more than enough. You could assassinate the Jarvan if she's down to half health, and that is what Bubby is going to do. He's going to collect the Rift Herald as well.
Yep, not actually sure how they managed to find it. I don't think, unless you walked over that ward is Jarvan, but either way, they end up managing to find the Rift Herald. Gonna go on the Spubby.
They have 30 seconds to jam it down if they want to collect plates. Otherwise, you just wait to make a coordinated play later on. But I don't think they can jam it mid because the wave is pushing in.
Yeah, look at the.
Oh man,
they're
okay.
actually gonna do it. So they don't have minion support right now. And Syndra is popping up.
They're not
and
gonna
she
get
does
it.
have Scatterer weak. So this is probably a lost cause. I think they were just a little over eager trying to get those turret plates.
2 seconds, the last one here. Yep, Turret Plate is going to time out, and they will get 0 value off the plates, but here comes the Rift Herald with the damage down. They finally charm up the Jarvan, though. A good deal of damage across. Have to respect the Awe of Deception as well. It's an Electrocute on the Ahri that will give them the mid lane turret, so managing to find a charm, no wave clear coming through from Qian means that they will collect the first structure in the mid lane.
Alright, first turret actually pretty worth, I think, with the Rift Herald there. Was a little sketchy at first, but they did manage to make it work. So 4k gold over towards top 10 Dino here, a substantial lead here at 14 minutes.
Finally getting the Q evolve with the pickaxe is the Kai'Sa in the bot lane, so big power spike coming through.
Right, at the moment though, Kai'Sa should be able to look for a few more fights right now as the Nautilus. I think definitely in a better state than the Varus Leona. Obviously Varus with that Blade of the Rune King isn't exactly made up to do huge tons of burst damage, but
why are they fighting here? There's 4 members strong, and Leona's gonna get pulled back in with the Dredge Line, having to flash out. Cataclysm will find the kill onto Kayn, and there was a bait all along. Chen now having to flash out A Knight should be ticking, but not enough to kill the jungler for Nitrous. At the end, they find a shutdown kill on top of the Kayn, and that gold is going to go the way of the Jarvan.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you don't have vision in your own jungle and you don't respect the possibility for an engage.
Careful, there's an Ahri here, and she's looking to make the dive happen. Death Charge not available, but Killer Instinct is, so if they land some sort of CC, they could go for the play, but instead Ahri just showing her face on the bot side to make them a bit uncomfortable, and I think the Varus Leona are uncomfortable here in the bot side.
Yeah, good thing that they actually didn't go for it. If not, it would have been a 4v3. If you actually saw on the minimap, the Syndra and the Jarvan were positioning just out of vision, ready to respond if Ahri went in.
Cinderhawk is the item of choice here, the enchantment of choice rather for the Jarvan. I feel very strongly about junglers that go for Cinderhawk but play Electrocute because there's very little scalability in that sort of item path. The best way to move forward with Cinderhawk, I feel, is to go for challenging Smite and Conquer, but in this case, you dip off really badly, right? You just become a meat shield that does little to no damage in these fights.
As we looked at top lane earlier, I think one thing that stands out to me right now is the item discrepancy. 0-0 on this Urgot not actually going to be very useful. Just getting constantly bullied out by this Nico. This turret should fall pretty soon, I would think, unless Urgot receives some backup.
I think you just sack top at this point. Just give the turret over to Urith and try your best to prolong its life. Any attention you send to the top side is just going to be a moot point because then she's just going to drop a clone and back off.
Yeah, at this point, can you even deal damage to this Nico? I mean, she has overheal and she has a Blade of Ruin King. So whatever damage you do to her is just going to be forfeited, really.
Not sure why she doesn't use the Purge to clean the wave out, and now she might just go down. Luckily, Stranglebob's not really going to find a target, but the active from the Blade of Ruin King is, and having to flash out is the top laner here, the Urgot player. Some questionable plays coming through, I think.
Yeah, Wolf used Batman for... I'm not going to pronounce that name, but...
Can we swap over to the Urgot? I want to see how she leveled her skills. Oh my goodness, she went for Q-Max. Okay, that makes sense. So when you go Q-Max, your Purge actually costs mana.
Yeah.
And you are unable to take extended trades. Essentially what you become is just a skill shot monster with Q. And because she has to... Hold on. I'm going to hold on to my point as they find a Nautilus here. Stopwatch though. It's going to keep her alive for a second longer. Flashing out the Cataclysm coming through and the Solar Flare as well. But this is a super tanky Nautilus that has the Aftershock available, which will keep her alive. Meanwhile, counter gang coming through. Kayn is going to find multiple members off the back, looking for the Syndra first, managing to dodge away from the Unleashed power with the ultimate there. And oh my goodness, wow. Element just wrecking everyone with the Spirit Rush coming through. A double already. Make that a possible triple as she will pick up the last kill on the Varus. The counter gang coming through and a teleport from the Urgot doing absolutely nothing here. Just feeding one more kill over. This is a mistake, a misplay on multiple levels from the side of Nitrous.
That's a 5-0. That's a clean ace off the back of a very amazing re-engage coming in from the Kayn, followed up by Aelina on the Ahri, putting out tons of damage and allowing them to continue their fight up till the point they do manage to find 5 and this dragon.
Get 5 to get dragon and to get the turret as well. I think this game is well and truly over, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not saying that too early. It's 18 minutes in and the goal lead is a massive 8k. The jungle, the mid, and the top have all popped off, and it's super unfortunate. I think there are a lot of things that Nitrous need to go back to the drawing board to look at. Before the fight started, I want to bring up my point about the Urgot. Going Q-Max is super difficult because then you just become a skill shot bot. You're clearing your waves through the use of Q, and you always run out of mana, right? Yep. Purge costs 0 mana when it's active at level 5. It allows you to clear the wave out very well as well. If you do manage to close the gap onto the Nico, it forces her to instantly back off. That's the reason why Conqueror Urgot is so good. You proc Conqueror extremely quickly with W. But it feels like the top laner for Nitrous doesn't know this, doesn't understand the pick properly, and it's costing them big time.
Yeah, I think the rationale is, since Nico's always going to be far away, I'm not going to be able to use my W. So just leveling up the Q for the skill shots to, you know, put down some damage to dissuade the Nico. But overall, I think in the current meta, you have to max your W if you want to have any effective team fight ability on this Urgot. And it's really showing how bad she is going to be in team fights right now.
Look, if you wanted to take the loss in the top lane, if you want to say, well, I'm just going to sit on the turret and CS, just play Gnar, just play Kennen, something with more teamfight impact. Why play Urgot if you're not going to pressure out the opponent right now? And it makes very little sense to me in terms of how they skilled the skill order in the top side.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, keep in mind that this Urgot was picked after the Nico, I believe. It was a sort of counter pick, but right now he's just going to get bullied continuously out in this top lane.
Urgot, I think, was 4th pick coming in. They showed Nico and then the last pick being a Kayn, right? So, Yeah, pick order aside, it's a very questionable skill order coming in from the top laner. Overall, though, I would wager that turtling up is not going to be an option anymore as they engage onto the Kayn. Umbral Trespass is going to buy her some more time. And these ults have been so on point with buying space. She gets a good deal of damage done as she still goes past the wall and jumps away. And now they trade the damage over. Still alive though as she's channeling her Knight's Edge of Night, looking to kite away from the damage on the Syndra.
Someone needs to tell Kian that she can press R to lower those walls, actually trapping most of her team up there to take damage from most of top 10 DINO. You can see a lot of tilt coming in from Nitrous at this point in the game.
Honestly, you'd take a moment to mental reset now. If you're moving to the second game of this best of 3, it's super unfortunate because Chen has not been having the best game. Even her first gank in the top side on Nico, she forced the EQ gank under the turret and I was like, whoa, that is super ballsy of you because the moment you get caught by the Tango Barbs, you die on the turret.
Alright, look at Jarvan and Syndra actually going in towards their own jungle face check. We have no vision there, so it's actually very, very, what's the word? Dangerous for them.
She can't possibly clear the waves out properly now because she didn't go for W. And to remind our viewers at home, W also does give you a reset on your passive. The shotgun knees. It's not particularly sure why she went for this skill order. It's questionable at best to me.
I mean, eventually this Urgot will get level 5 on the W, but the question is whether it's too late. Yeah, that's the point, innit?
Last saving grace of this composition is gonna be the Varus, who could possibly scale up to team fight, but I feel like there are too many offensive options on the top 10 DINO side to dive the Varus. The Kayn as well as the depth charge coming in from Nautilus. Any of those things hit, the Varus is going to be a very dead ADC. Oh man, see you later, buddy.
0-4-0 incoming.
Umbral Trespass for the additional damage and boom! Dark Harvest as well, icing on the cake. Great kill instinct in as well as the Void Seeker to find the assist from Vortex here. Kai'Sa 4-1 and 8 has hit her item power point like we always talk about. You go for the Manamune Evolve, Guinsoo's as well as the Nashor's Tooth. These 3 items make Kai'Sa as strong as she can possibly get.
Yeah, we gotta give credit to Spubby over here, pulling out those unconventional jungle picks to Poppy, and now the Kayn seeming very comfortable on all of them in general.
Now they're gonna start sieging up in the bottom side. Inner turret is gonna fall now. Mid is gonna be soon after. There's no one on the side of Nitrous that's willing to step up and possibly attack the cannon minion sieging down.
Yeah, I mean at this point, if you're top 10 DINO, you can just walk in and take towers for free because Nitrous can't really contest you if you try to dive them. So Nitrous is just forced to back away and allow you to take these turrets.
They have to back off and the siege coming through. Pushing with charms will be the next best option as Elma throws one out looking for a pick. Meanwhile, Urif pretty happy she's sitting in the bottom side split pushing against the Urgot who can do absolutely nothing at this point.
Yeah, you have to think that with this wave, this turret should also go down. Urgot has to back off here. Actually, no, you have backup from the Syndra, so you're not really risking much here.
Still overall, when the Syndra walks down, there's a window for the Kayn to go all in and fish for a pick. They split up and send Elma to the top side. This Ahri pushing into the inner turret on the top half. Right. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
No. This is not exactly what you want to do. Okay. Luckily, Leona didn't go in. The thing we see with Leonas when they are behind, right?
They keep forcing fights.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's exactly what you want to do on Leona when you're behind, not to mention this far behind. When you look for those fights, it really just ends up turning around and blowing up in your face.
Flashing, looking for the all-in Underworld Trespass is immediately gonna pop the Varus, and like we said, either the tech charge or the Kayn finding the Varus means that the ADC is gonna be dead in a second and a half. 4 members strong, looking to defend, but I don't think they will be able to do so successfully. Game 1 looks to be well and truly over here, ladies and gentlemen, as they might look to proceed into Game 2, charging the Edge of Night now. Spubby looking for another angle in.
Yeah, if not now, then very soon. All 3 inhibitors are down. Super minions are going to be streaming into this base. They see and engage. They move it onto Leona. Suddenly not so tanky anymore. Counter-engaging on top of Kai'Sa as she flashes out. They find some space here in this fight. Fear Beyond Death was used to dissuade the re-engage, but still it's the Nico that's just split pushing on the bottom side. They find all the inhibitors. They find the super minions streaming in. And they find some space to reset as they look to take this game soon after a recall in the base. And they're going to find this Infernal Drake as well, just adding insult to injury for Nitrous at this point. It's going to be And honestly, there's no way they come back into this game. I think it's a 15k gold lead. It's just a free game over the top 10 DINO. And the real question right now is for Nitrous whether they can reset coming into the next game.
For the recalls here, Baron not up just yet, so I think the call should be just to close the game out. Have Urif continue split pushing and accumulate the wave pressure. It's 25.5 minutes in. Looks to be GG, ladies and gentlemen, soon.
Yeah, we're just waiting for them to walk back out. At this point, you can just play the 1-3-1 no problem, since the area of fighting is actually so small. Just push all the streams of minions in and it should end the game no problem, really.
I don't know if you played Dota in the past. There's this custom game mode called Tower Defense and X-Hero Siege. It's basically about defeating minions streaming into your base, and this is pretty much what it feels like, right? Everyone having to center around these waves and clear them up, so none of them make it to the Nexus turret.
Yeah, it really feels bad, man, for all of these folks. I mean, again, earlier we talked about single target damage. It also applies here to minions. You don't really have much damage. You can't really wave clear that well. So as you can see, it's like 4 members of Nitrous are forced to group around and clear each wave as they come in.
Urif will be in charge of split pushing in the bottom half, whereas the remainder 4 of top 10 dinos will be streaming in with the minions. They're escorting them into the base.
Yeah, shouldn't be too long for this world is Nitrous, as one Nexus turret prevents top 10 dino from taking the Nexus. Should see his final fight, as Nitrous probably don't want to go in without, a fight.
Speaking of a fight, they managed to root up the Ahri and get the kill on the Elma. Meanwhile, the Pop Blossom not really going to find anyone, as he was used to disengage. Now Spubby getting caught out by the Q from Urgot. Good deal of damage down onto the jungler. They managed to hold the defense for a while longer, and thankfully it was off a great snare coming in from Taney's Chains of Corruption to get the kill onto the Ahri.
Yeah, managing to hold the line for a few more minutes at least, as top 10 Dino, they think, yeah, sure, it's fine. We can just back off. Baron is spawning. Let's take that, and then we'll reset and look for another fight.
A miracle steal here for Qian might just win her team's favor once more. It might get them back into the game. But the Nautilus is on pursuit and looking to distract her from her goals. Now it's down to 1,600 now. She's not probably going to get it yet. A bit too late. And Blade of the Ring King active is going to ensure that Qian is going to die here. I say that, she flags and drags away. Leaping forward, the depth charge, not even needed. The Urif is going to get the kill credit as the minions stream in. The rest of the team will be walking in soon with the Baron power and minions.
Yeah, I mean, that was... The miracle steal probably wouldn't have even been enough, but the effort was there, the idea was alright, and nonetheless, top 10 Dino, going in again, just going to be able to end this game 1-0 up in this best of 3.
Yeah, a very unexplosive ending. It was all routine the moment they found the lead. The 5-man clear along the dragon early in the game signaled the ending of the game itself. I feel like that was the start of the snowball, and it's really hard to climb back from that one.
Yeah, there was like a 14k gold advantage at the end of the game, so pretty sizable. If you look at that,
that came in.
From a tank to an assassin, this came. Oh, Spubby's doing work today.
Yeah, that Kane really popping off and calls into question, well, you're going to ban the Poppy and Spubby's going to have the Kane up her sleeve. How many bans are you going to expend to limit the jungle pool of this particular player? Or are you just okay leaving the Sejuani up open and saying, you know what, we might have a better answer to that? I think a lot to be desired, as Nitrous and top 10 Dinos go into a short break right now for their next game. They will be taking a sort of a backseat and thinking about how they want to proceed forward, because this is a best of 3. Adaptations can be made. So moving forward, what do you think are some choices that they need to make to claw their way back in the game for Nitrous?
Well, first of all, I think the thing about going against top 10 Dino Rise, they have this champion ocean that is practically impossible to ban out. I mean, you already threw so many target bans, yet they still come out with these champions that can absolutely just dumpster you.
Right.
I think maybe you leave the tank open for Spubby to pick up, so that there isn't that 3 threat of the triple damage threat, I think. So that's one way. If you take away the damage threat, I think you can maybe look to capitalize elsewhere. Fair
enough. Okay, so maybe you just look to do that and not care so much about banning out specific things, because they still have other things up their sleeves. For now, guys, we'll be going for a short break. When we come back, the continuation of this best of 3 will be on your screen. For now, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, guys, to the best of 3 final for the Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia FSL qualifier. It's quite a mouthful, but all you have to know is that the winner of this BO3 is going to be representing Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia server at the FSL Elite Tournament later on this year in September. But for now, we will be moving into Champion Select. real quick. There you go on your screen. Kai'Sa immediately locked in. They're denying that away from
Yep.
Vortex, and they have banned out the Zoe, Yorick, as well as Nico against the side of top 10 dinos.
Yeah, what Nitrous is saying here is that, okay, we've seen your Kai'Sa before. What, can you play anything else? And Urif is saying, yes, they're gonna pick the Xayah, but they're also gonna pick up the Nautilus. We've seen this combo before, played to actually great effect. I think the synergy between Nautilus's stun and knockup and Xayah's Blade Caller, the synergy is pretty good.
I feel like a lot of teams are overvaluing the Nautilus though, and that's just because the nature of the tournament is as such. You know, when people pick all-in champions, it tends to become a do-or-die situation. The response is often very unclear from the opponents when Nautilus is in the game, but Braum here will be the answer. And I think that's actually a decent response coming through.
Kai'Sa Braum, they both want to stack up their stacks, I guess.
Yeah.
But and both these champions they will be, you know, pretty good at doing that. So this combo into Xayah Nautilus I think is pretty evenly matched, even if Xayah Nautilus might have a bit of an edge in engaging.
Looking for what might appear to be the Trundle here, and this is a unpronounced Trundle pick. We don't know if it's going to go into the jungle or into the top lane, possibly even some shenanigans after that in mid or bot. Most likely going to be jungle though. I'm just going to hedge my bets and say it's going to be a jungle Trundle coming in here. Now Javron was open the previous game, Chen picked it up, and let's be honest, did not have a good game, right? This time though, will be on the Trundle, might have a different opposite outcome.
Now here's the thing, right? Smelby's like, alright, I've played tanks. I'm gonna put my carrier shoes on now. She's had a great game on Kane. She's gonna pick it up again, and hopefully play the same effect today.
Aatrox's gonna be banned out. And now the top lane pool I think might just be pinched a bit more. Urif might be forced to default into the on if it's left open, but I don't think that KTR are gonna leave it open for this game too.
We're just gonna see what ban comes through right now. Like, they're both pinching the top lane pool actually. Urif has actually been that, you know, solid rock in the top lane, so I guess banning her out right now does make quite a little sense.
She's been playing mostly tanks, right? Tank tops in the tournament so far, and overall her value has been very obvious. She brings tank tops to the table to play an engaged supportive role in team fighting.
And you did see that she was playing Nico in the previous game and was pretty good at bullying out the Urgot. So it's not like she can only play tanks, I think.
Why ban out the Urgot though? Because I don't think it was the best performing champion on their team. In fact, I had very, very heavy criticism about how the skill order was built and the item order came in as well. Ari gonna be the last ban here, so Chloe will get a relatively safer lane when it comes to kill pressure.
Right. Well, Aylema is gonna have you know, quite a few of her champions banned out. I think Zoe and the Ari. I think there was another pick that she was playing before.
Corki as well, yeah.
Alright, Corki.
Okay, Swain here is
okay.
pretty cool. Flex in top and mid. The value of Swain has increased quite a lot as of, I think, 2 patches ago where they buffed the way Swain works. So back then you needed a certain amount of soul shards to activate your ultimate and make it useful, right? But right now soul shards are just a stacking option, and you still do maximum damage on your R regardless. In addition to that, I believe your Q now moves through minions, so you can actually wave clear pretty well. It'll be Karma here that's locked in, so could possibly be a Karma top lane, but they're lacking a true tank if they send Karma to the top side.
Right. I mean, Trundle can be that true tank, I think, unless you go for those sorts of, you know, interesting bruiser Trundle builds. But right now we are going to have to see how this composition rounds out. So it should be a Karma top. Actually, both these champions can actually flex.
No, you send Karma top. You can't put Lissandra in the top lane because then you just get bullied out if they decide to play a bruiser in the top side, because Lissandra really, really bad against champions that can jump onto her. So yeah, you play Lissandra mid, Karma top. And now it's going to be Swain Orianna here.
Yep, so Orianna is actually pretty good. I think Orianna right now in this composition, you have a lot of tools that actually will jump in, and you can use your shockwave that way. So pretty good pick to round out the composition right now.
I'm curious if this Lissandra is going to be going for Aftershock, because you traditionally see Aftershock as a response to Assassin mids, right? You can get a very tanky Lissandra going, but in this case, the only assassin you have to be concerned about is the Kayn.
Yep.
And you're sacrificing a lot of laning ability if you do go for the Aftershock, especially against Orianna, because she outranges you so badly. Like, you literally can't walk up with her getting poked. So the option here for Lissandra might just be something like Electrocute or even a Arcane Comet if she needs to sort of survive the lane against Orianna.
Yeah, not to mention now that you look at it, Nitrous doesn't really have that much damage, and most of it is in fact magic damage as Karma decides to go for full AP.
This composition looks to support the Kai'Sa as well. You have members that are looking to keep the Kai'Sa topped up, and that's literally your only physical damage, right? Apart from the Trundle, who, if you go with the Chad build, Triforce, then maybe you have some physical damage in the bag, but apart from that, it's just going to be Kai'Sa solo carrying physical damage.
It's going to be another Protect the AD carry comp, I think. If I'm not wrong, yesterday we saw Protect the, I want to say Jinx.
Jinx, yeah.
I think, and that didn't go very well.
I honestly feel like Jinx would have been okay here if they wanted to play Kai'Sa. You just have to draft something like Jinx Tahm Kench, right? And for some strange reason, there are differences in champion pools in FSL compared to global meta. No one plays Tahm Kench at all. Even though the value of Ashe Tahm Kench is super high, no one seems to play it. And that's an option you can use to reply against Kai'Sa Nautilus as well. Ashe Tahm Kench, really good champion. A really good set of champions.
And that's just a meta here. I think everyone wants to prioritize the Kai'Sa, even though we haven't seen her that high in international play. Sure, we've seen a few Kai'Sas. I think in the LEC yesterday we've seen a few. But yeah, it's like Kai'Sa every game down here.
Like you play, if your opponents are playing Nautilus, right, there are answers. Don't think that the champion is perfect. It's good in the meta, sure, because it allows you to engage reliably. Therefore, you don't have to pick hard engage support. You don't have to pick hard engage top laners and junglers.
Okay.
But the counter is that you get poked out so badly, right? You play Ashe with lethality, arcane comment, boom. You just, every time the Nautilus walks in, half health. Like, you don't even get to play League of Legends. It's so annoying, right? But teams aren't understanding what the weaknesses of this pick is. Braum is not bad because then you mitigate a lot of the hard engage and you can actually counter engage at level 6 with Kai'Sa. It's still not the ideal way to handle the Nautilus though.
Yeah, 100%. I think, talking about the Ashe pick, I think Ashe in this current meta is 100% worthy of a pick. She does decent damage, and in this meta especially, we've seen a lot of compositions that want to run at you.
Yeah.
If you have the Ashe, you can sort of mitigate the ability to do that, and so talking about a pick, I think, is something that you could look towards. But right now, we're seeing Kai'Sa, we're seeing Xayah, we're seeing Sivir.
Also, one thing that needs to be brought up is that I think the players sometimes are too fixated on their ideals of how the game should be played, right? Every time I bring up the idea of lethality Varus, it seems like it always falls on deaf ears, despite the option being very strong into certain matchups. These ADCs nowadays need to have more open minds when it comes to alternating your keystones and how you want to play the game out, because traditionally people think of ADCs as late game scaling powerhouses, you know, you do the damage in the team fights, but sometimes it's okay to take a back seat and just play the utility role like a lethality Ashe, like a lethality Varus.
Especially in some of these games, we've seen AD carries not exactly have the hugest impact, and I think a lot of these games have been decided in the mid lane, and the ADC is just there to supplement that. And if you're going that route, you can, take a backseat like you said, and hell, the Ashe will do great there.
The Ashe will do great, the Varus will do great, but this game, Kai'Sa has to do great because the composition is drafted around peeling for the Kai'Sa. You have Lissandra, who has the Frozen Tomb, instantaneous snap CC coming in to neutralize the Kayn. If you realize the CC the previous game was too slow, right? It was too easy to dodge away from, and the Kayn had a field day in going all in on the squishy back lines. This time, the moment the Kayn appears, you flash forward, you have to use whatever CC you need to close her out, and Lissandra did go for Aftershock. Okay, so this lane is going to be super difficult. Like, she's going to get pushed out consistently and outranged against the Orianna. Top lane, very greedy to go for Klepto as well. I would have preferred Summoner Eerie here against Eurus Swain.
Yeah, you would think Nitrous right now will be playing a little safer, but it seems that they're going for, the sort of greed builds. I think, sure, Aftershock or Lissandra will be, pretty good once they hit the team fight phase, but until then, like you said, it's going to be a very oppressive lane for the Orianna to win.
Like, this lane, the reason you go Aftershock Lissandra, like I explained earlier, is because you're afraid of getting all in. You want the bonus resistances if anyone tries to assassinate you, right? But against the Orianna, she's gonna poke you out and chunk you low enough that it forces you to be denied away from the wave. You have to base preemptively. It's more of a harass lane. You don't need the Aftershock to survive, and even if the Kayn comes in for the gank, chances are you'll still be able to get out without the Aftershock. So it makes very little sense to me why Chloe would go for the Aftershock here. That being said, the Klepto was something I brought up earlier. I would have preferred the Summoner Eerie because you're not going to be able to proc the Klepto all too much, especially if you are trading against the Swain early on.
Right, we're deviating from the norm here. Normally we see, a safer start from the losing team on the point, but we do see a 5-man stack at the bottom side of this river right now. Not exactly sure what they're doing, hiding in the tri-bush.
Reason for this was because the previous game they went for early invade. Remember, the Nautilus came in through the tri-brush to get a gank down, and they managed to evade that. But this time, because they have the Braum, they can sit 5 members here just in case the invade comes in. You'll be prepared. You can turn it around, probably get a kill.
Just a bit of this defensive positioning actually. But what this allows is for Vayne to just walk in and place a ward without any contest.
Smart for top 10 dinos to understand, hey, the previous game we cheesed the invade to get some vision down, but this time they have Braum, they have Lysandra, a lot of tools to keep us in place if they need to, and the execute on the Kai'Sa early on, her passive coming through is just going to be a whole lot of trouble, so we want to avoid that early on and just play standard.
Not gonna lie though, I think that ward is a little too far. If Trundle does play that safely, he might not actually get spotted out, so that's something we have to keep our eye on.
So Bobby this time did go for the Raptor start, which is pretty normal for Kayn players. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could start on your opponent's Raptors and then move over to your own camps to get an early advantage. Chen this time, I said it once, I will say it again. Moving over to Crocs is always a mistake unless you are on a power farming jungler.
Yeah, 100%. You don't have priority on your top side. You can't go up there and match a gank should that Kayn go for it. And at the moment, Kayn is clearing that jungle pretty quickly. Should be able to hit level 3 relatively soon and look for a gank top.
Like, the only reason you do this is if you're playing something like Jarvan Xin Zhao and your bot lane has the ability to all in with you coming in to burn summoner spells. Maybe then you take the Crocs to hit level 2.5 to come in for the gank.
Oh, we're actually gonna get spotted out, so they know where the Trundle is. That's some information going over to the side of top 10 dinos.
I'm curious if they were looking at the minimap though, because although spotted out, no pings though.
Yeah, maybe could have been communicated verbally, but what this means is Kayn should know rather, where the Trundle is and can go for this gank.
Looking for the gank here, landing the pullback once more. Yurif is going to be able to chip in the damage needed. Dark Harvest being proc as well. Inspire is not up because she is level 2. Oh, speaking of which, she does have it. So, okay, maybe it was just on cooldown earlier, but they will manage to finish off that play and get out.
But like you said, I think we have to praise Kayn going in for these early ganks, able to get, those stacks for the transformation earlier on. The earlier you get those stacks, the stronger you'll become in these mid-game fights, I think.
Will be spotted out here, the ward across the wall. Meanwhile, I think the Kayn shouldn't be overstaying here. Trying to could look to contest this if they want to. But looking at the minimap once more, Orianna having lane private in the mid lane means that you can't really fight over this Scuttle Crab.
Yep, Trundle not exactly tanky enough to go for these one-on-one trades just yet. I think against the Kayn, Kayn does edge out in damage. Just a little bit, but like you said...
I would hesitate to disagree because Kayn went for Dark Harvest, so there's no upfront damage until you get to Dark Harvest procs, right? And press the attack is always good in an extended trade.
Yep, definitely a good point there as well. But we are going to see Kayn actually just pick up another Scuttle Crab. Wait, did he get a top one? No, he didn't get a top one, so he's just going to be a trade of Scuttle Crabs.
No, Kayn got the top one and the bottom one as well.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, there's just the ward, just the ward on the side. Yeah, so it's Bobby now coming in super hot with double Scuttle Crab takes as well as the camps. And I think that if you are top 10 dinos now, you have the presence of mind to know that your lanes are pushing up. Kayn can go in and take whatever she wants. Like we mentioned earlier, Orianna is going to have prio in the bot lane here. As more or less matched, it's just that they haven't been using the Icatian Rain that well to clear the wave out.
Yeah, all 3 lanes here are actually having priority over the opposing laners, so this Kayn is pretty much free to push wherever he likes.
The downside is if your lanes are pushed up, it's really hard to come in to get stacks on your passive, because then if you do activate something, you'll be under turret, right? So super dangerous. Can't really be too proactive here as... the pullback is missed, never move, not really going to connect there. Yurif trying her best to land some CC, but overall CS is still going to go the way of the Karma early on because of her early access to the Mantra ultimate.
But yeah, back to the point on the Kayn, right? I think it really comes down to jungle experience, because when your lanes are pushed up, the best thing you can do is look to counter gank, because you know the enemy jungler is going to look for a gank eventually. So if you're able to shadow the enemy jungler and counter gank effectively, that could be one way to get your lanes, not only your laners, but yourself ahead as well.
Okay, so Yurif now is going to shove the wave out. She could actually freeze it there and cheat a recall, remember. The early gank forced the Karma to go back early and buy and teleport back into lane. So Yurif now with the superior back timing, in fact.
Yep. In fact, Agelum are actually just forcing Chloe to stay in the lane when Chloe is actually running low on mana, so this is not the best position you want to be on this Lysandra. You want to go back to base, you want to reset, you want to buy those items and come back slightly stronger.
gold, not much significant difference across the board despite it being 5 minutes in. I mean, what do we really expect, right? No kills, so we don't really have to take a look at the goal all too much. Item wise though, the first power point hasn't come through yet for Urif despite only getting a ruby crystal.
Alright, now I don't actually like this very much. The Trundle's actually going down to the bot lane, but you don't have vision in that jungle, so you actually don't know where King should
Look
be.
at the minion. I think Braum can jump over and make the play happen here. You could use the stand behind me, force the fight here. Going all in concussive blows is gonna find the Nautilus, but the dredge line will get her to safety, and that's why you have to go early on these active plays. Meanwhile, the Karma getting focused out on the top side. One more attack should be able to finish her off, but not in range to do so. So they trade aggression on different sides of the map, and the Karma here has been magnificent in absorbing the pressure for her team. Oh, never move, pushes her back in. But overall, no kills to be found on either sides of the map.
Yeah, both teams just disengaging pretty well, not allowing the junglers to find any sort of lead in the respective lanes right now. I think we should give the advantage of this Bubby though, continuing to stack up. There's going to be more pressure going over to him, and to her rather, instead of the Trundle.
Right.
Dragon sneak.
For a sneak on the Mountain Dragon. This is actually very profitable if they can get it. Take a look at the minimap. The bot lane is pushed up past the river, so this is a position whereby if the Xayah Nautilus wants to walk out, they will get pincered off and cut off, so there's no way you can rejoin here. Sneaking this away would be super helpful in terms of scaling up. Remember, we saw the two-man Kai'Sa Baron tick earlier on. This is going to help them if they want to try and do that later on in the game.
Yeah, it's not actually very dangerous right now, even though you don't have any wards in the bottom side of the jungle, since you did see Kayn go towards the top side, and logically he should still be there. It's going to lose the Grom for the Dragon, but that's absolutely worth.
Yeah, worth indeed, and now they get the early Dragon take 7.5 minutes in. Meanwhile, mid lane advantages being accrued by the Orianna. Remember that now that she has the cleanse, or rather that she did take the cleanse, absolutely no kill threat whatsoever coming in.
Yeah, questioning this Bubby's movements right now, since she does show topside, which allows this Trundle to go towards the bot side jungle and take basically every camp there. So there's gonna be tempo advantage to the Trundle.
Whether she can make something happen is important though, because the buy items coming out, rather the buy timings coming in here will be very crucial in the next skirmish. Level 6 being hit on both bot laners as Chen makes a revisit once more, but look at the wave. It's pushed up. There's nothing we can do here.
Alright, looks like Kayn's at the top side again, so might be doing just a little bit of vertical jungling at the moment.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I don't think Karma is going to be a victim to this trade coming in.
Yep, Karma, I think at this point she should know that Kayn is very happy going up to that top side, so should play a little safer, ward that bush a little more than she usually would.
And in the Ring of Frost as well as the Ice Shard across an Elima, but not really doing a lot of damage. You can see that Chloe's trying her best to keep even and competitive in terms of CS, but she's down about 25 at the point at this current moment.
Yeah, all adds back to, you know, the Aftershock Keystone not allowing her to stay in lane. It's very oppressive for her to actually contest for low CS.
It sounds silly, but I would have even gone for Glacial Augment and just played Utility Lysandra if I needed to. Meanwhile, Chen is going to find, oh, the Kayn here, she knocks her out of the E, so she won't be able to trespass into the wall. Meanwhile, flashing away is the Kayn. Good play coming from the Trundle jungle here this time. A lot more confident than the Jarvan the previous game. Chen starting to make things happen on the map.
And absolutely catching out the Kayn while Chloe did have priority allows her to get out towards the river quicker and forces Kayn to use the flash. That's going to be one impactful summoner spell down.
And like we said, it's the item timings that come in there should be so crucial. Hold on here. Using the ice, pillar of ice rather, to knock the Orianna back, but Chloe did not take the glacial path forward, so no kill coming through. I think they could have managed to burn the cleanse there if they were more aggressive. Meanwhile, Urif taking a good trade on here.
Yeah, at the moment, Karma does have more damage than Urif does at the moment, so we have to wait a little more for, you know, Swain to get her damage items before she can look for these fights.
The reason why Swain is stronger in the top side is because she did use the teleport to get a better set of buys coming through. Oh, Glacial Fissure being used, knockup coming through as well. A great Flash and Feather Storm to keep her rooted, and coming through the wall is the Kayn now. But is there enough damage though to finish off the Braum? Heal being used preemptively, and the Nautilus walking down will signal the end of that trade. They tried they want to get the kill on the Xayah, but a great response coming through was more than enough. In fact, she didn't even have to use the flash there.
Yeah, and on the opposing side, Braum had to use both Summoner spells and Kai'Sa had to use heal to get out of that. So great disengage coming in from the Xayah to get out of that, let's say, expeditionary engage.
Remember in the previous game when multiple teams were focusing on the Kai'Sa Nautilus, I was saying, well, Xayah Rakan is actually a pretty good answer. In that instance right there, is we see why Xayah is so good at avoiding dives, right? Especially against Kai'Sa Nautilus. Sure, it was a Braum this time, but the idea is the same. Your Feather Storm under the turret immediately disengages, and if they like to push for even more, Blade Caller will keep them in place.
Yeah, Aylema now pushing the Syndra. Syndra. Why do I keep calling it Syndra? Pushing the Lysandra under the tower, now able to move up towards the Rift Herald, plays down some crucial vision to make sure the Trundle, the confident Trundle, doesn't go up to try to take it away from them.
There's a small window here where the power spike belongs to the Lysandra until Orianna bases. If they can force the wave to be pushed back, it might stop her from recalling and get a bet by timing in. She's still staying though. They could look to make a fight happen if they go in for the angles here.
So gotta be careful, Aylema. If a pillar comes down, a
Yeah.
good pillar rather, could spell doom for this Orianna.
Instead, they will be looking to round the corner and maybe make the play happen here. Chloe has to deal with the wave first before she goes in onto anything. Meanwhile, Swabby is gonna find Chen here in the river.
Yeah, both junglers expediting the top side. They don't want this fight.
Oh, look at the damage coming through. That's a lot of health bars being chunked out already, and flashing forward, the shockwave isn't really going to hit her as the last club to the face is going to give her first blood. And now Aylema is stuck beyond enemy line. She still has the cleanse though, and immediately will pop it Captain Jack style. Flashing away, Chloe now has to be careful about the spacing. The auto attacks coming through. The gears will stick it in the back and give the return kill over. Challenging smite being used by Chen, but I don't think they are going to chase onto the Orianna here.
Look, you're on Kayn, you're half health, and you're going against a Trundle. You absolutely should not be taking that fight, but at the end of it, we did see a return kill coming in from Aylema, and that's just a result of Chloe not respecting the Orianna's damage right now.
Yeah, I think she did try to make the play happen, but an immediate cleanse was enough for her to turn the damage around. Thankfully, though, it was 2 summon spells blown for 1 over there, so teleport still available for Chloe in terms of the net trade. I could see the logic behind that. If Orianna missed the shockwave and you guys were behind her, why not, try and push in for the kill there?
Yeah, definitely should have tried to chain up the damage more instead of having Lysandra just walk up and try to hit her a few times. But right now, we do see top 10 DINO focus down this dragon. 5 men here. Knightress should not contest.
Yeah, they're in no position to contest this. It's going to go down even before they can move in, and a half health Trundle is going to be starting to fight. A Great Glacial Prison catching 4 members as they get Trundle off. This is a choke point that no one wants to fight, and Vayne now gets caught out. Killer Instinct in. The stopwatch is going to keep her alive for a second longer as the stopwatch, the shockwave will be good on the end. They find 1-for-1 trade, and Urif is in the center of it all. Glacial Comp is too good as they have to flash out and run away.
At the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1 with Infernal Drake going towards the side of top 10 DINO. That was, you don't want to find those sorts of choke points with that huge Glacial Fissure coming in from Braum. So they tried to disengage. That was the smart play. But unfortunately, the combined slows from the side of Knightress were just too much for them to bear.
Yeah, they committed quite a lot there to finishing off the dragon. If it was me, I would have left it at 700 health, the rest of the team back off, and leave Kayn alone to smite it because she's so mobile. She can actually juke around, ring around the Rosie, and still get out in time.
Standstill is only about, no, not even a gold lead at the moment. It's basically in a standstill right now. 1 dragon apiece with, equal kills on both sides, I think. Yep.
This is more than fitting though, because you look at the Drakes that are coming in, it suits how both teams want to win the game. Okay. Multiple damage threats on the side of top 10 Dinos means that Inferno is going to benefit them a lot more. Whereas if you're looking to scale out and play the late game, you want to play the macro game, you're going to need the Mountain Drake to give you the Baron to win the game. Because straight up 5v5 in the late game, I don't think you can out-damage your opponent. You're going to need the Baron, you're going to need the Elder, and with that, the Mountain is going to be extra efficient in helping you accomplish those goals.
Alright, but right now we are seeing a bit of a slow game, and you know what? That means no objectives to take. Next objective is the Rift Herald, which is more than worth right now, I think, for both teams. I think if you set up a siege right now, since both teams are relatively equal, the Rift Herald can make a difference to take a turret.
Speaking of Rift Herald, they drop a control ward there. Didn't clear out the other control though, but a Pillar of Ice will spot it out. Consistently getting pushed in is the mid laner for Knightress, and As a result, they have very little prio over the top half of the jungle. You can see that every time the Trundle walks up, it's only to put a ward and back off. They can't really contest the vision here.
Yeah, it feels bad for this Lissandra, but we have to give her credit for not, overstepping when she has the opportunity to take farm instead just chilling at the back and farming slowly and not allowing top 10 Dino to come in for a gank.
Meanwhile, the Xayah has been left alone to her own devices in the bot lane, just CSing and farming up. She's only down by 10-15 CS, but it's still good because that frees up the Nautilus to go around the map and help her teammates out.
Yeah, hey, it's fine. I mean, this Xayah, regardless of the CS deficit, is only about 10 right now, pretty negligible. Should be able to come into team fights with more power than the Kai'Sa. Obviously, like you said, stacking the mana meter.
Phase Rush has been activated for Yurif, and she's going to take a good amount of damage still off the Corrupting Potion, as well as the Soul Flares coming through. Not really hitting any of her skill shots that she needs to. It's kind of unfortunate here for Yurif. She has the Rod of Ages completed, so there's no immediate power in that buy. There is a scaling portion to it. Up front, of course, you do get some health and AP, but the Karma now looking for her Luden's Echo is going to be... They're collapsing in the mid lane. They're looking for the angle in. The cleanse is up already. Remember, the cooldown on that Summoner Spell is actually low enough that every time they try to make the gank happen, that cleanse will be up. Alright.
Oof, that was spicy. Tian actually was spotted pathing down towards the bot side, which means Kayn is free to go and clear this vision and even maybe start up the Rift Herald.
Yeah, every time the Trundle appears in the mid lane, it gives the jungler of top 10 dinos a bit more space, right? And right now, she went for the Rast Evolve, the melee style. Oh, hold on, Shockwave might just find a solo kill here, as a Frozen Tomb will be used by Chloe to keep herself topped up. Mew flashing in instantly, Smubby getting the kill credit for that fight. No hesitation whatsoever in the eyes or in the face of the jungler for top 10 dinos.
And you're slightly tankier now that you have Red Kayn, so you're jumping in like that, you definitely have the inside track since you can go through walls, so Trundle was in no position to contest that.
And if you have to ask yourself right now, at what point is Aftershock worth it? Because you can't proc it against the Orianna, right? Use Frozen Tomb on yourself, Aftershock is not even a keystone at all because you didn't use any CC. Suddenly there's no value in what you picked, and right now you're just gonna get shoved up by the Orianna constantly, time and time again.
Yep, definitely. Ailima putting on some decent damage on this tower. You might think she might be able to get this unless she forces Tian to engage on her.
With the blue buff, the Ailima will be super comfortable just pushing out, and this gives them access to the Rift Herald right now. Teleport coming in though from the mid laner of Nitrous.
Yeah, this should definitely be enough to just secure
Rift
Herald for top 10 Dino.
It was a Yurif that teleported in rather.
Okay, well, Nitrous right now, no point in contesting this. Should just give it over for free. Swabi picks it up. Should probably put it in the mid lane relatively soon. Just take out that tower and begin to open up.
After 15 minutes, there is no reason to jam the Rift Herald down, because if you have a lead against Chloe, right, what you could do now is force a rotation of the rest of the team to come and support this Lissandra. Then you jam the Rift Herald wherever the weakness is. Alternatively, you find a solo kill and then you jam it after, right? You don't have to put it down when the enemy champion is there.
Yes, certainly. And with this Orianna backing off, it's going to come back with a lot more damage against this Lissandra. So it's going to be very difficult for this.
Immediate Oblivion Orb by. Ouch.
Oof, that's going to hurt, man. But yeah, the potential for a solo kill rather, is definitely there for Orianna.
It's more than that. It's guaranteed at this point against the Lissandra because of the double magic pen items. Whatever she's doing in terms of damage, magic damage, is close to true damage, right? So you have to respect the fact that the poke coming through, or at least the damage, will chunk you out. Starting this Inferno here is a terrible idea because they are getting boxed in and they have the inside track. It's going to be taken away by the Trundle and the Frozen Tomb. Not up just yet. Killing this thing off the back. Taney is actually doing a good load of damage off, and getting caught by the Shockwave is going to change the fight. At least the Kai'Sa is still alive for now. They can kite this one out. Ignite on top of the ADC is a bit tricky as Yurif pops the ultimate preemptively to dissuade the re-engage. Oh! Flashing away from the Soul Flare. Almost getting caught out there. Had to use the heal as well.
Yep, overall it's a bit of an equal trade.
1 for 2 there. They lose the Lissandra, they get the jungle and the support, but they will lose the mid lane. And overall, I think I'd take that trade if I was Nitrous. I was so far behind, I managed to trade 1 for 2 and I still get the dragon.
You do find the dragon. Definitely gonna need that damage if you want to do anything, but they did find a counter tower in the bot lane.
Now stealing the blue buff away from the Lissandra is going to be pretty profitable. If you're the Orianna, you can see she's already down on mana. Quite a tricky resource to manage if you are a mid laner.
Right now, Urif has actually gotten free push right now unless Karma... No, Karma doesn't have TP, so unless Lissandra decides to come out to
Doesn't
stop
matter,
him,
yeah,
it should go down, no problem.
It's just gonna fall because there's no one that can rotate up in time. And Urif, with the next rotation of minions coming through, should be able to take this turret by herself. And like we said, the changes to the Q, right? Going through the minions now gives you so much more lane prio in the top side. Urif slowly stacking up the Rod of Ages, looking for the Zion's Hourglass as well.
Yeah, desperate pings for the top lane tower to be defended, going unanswered as it just easily gets taken down by the Swain. That's a tower advantage for top 10 Dino. They should have priority over this. Baron should begin to set up a vision wall to choke Nitrous out.
21 minutes is still a bit too early to sneak it away. You still need to evolve on a Muramana before you can even do anything. Either that or the second Mountain Dragon will be good. Wonder what the next dragon is gonna be.
We'll figure it out eventually, I'm sure, but yeah, right now it's just about setting a vision line in this river so that Nitrous won't be able to come through it for any sneaky plays whatsoever.
Spubby though still holding on to the Rift Herald, needs to jam it soon before it times out. The worst feeling in the world is activating Rift Herald in your own pace.
Definitely seen them a couple times, but luckily over these qualifiers we haven't actually seen it.
You can see the control that this Orianna has, so much threat present here. Every time she walks in, she knows that she can chunk out whoever comes up to contest her.
Yeah, disciplined play coming from Aylama, that pop-off mid laner that we've seen over the course of the tournament.
She still has some friends here, and Aylama not afraid to walk up and just cue the wave. Knowing that if they engage on her, she has enough space to back off, and jamming the Rift out now in the mid lane is a bit of a waste, I think.
Yeah.
Because even though it's going to probably move up and try and get one charge off, there should be enough support. Oh man, look at the chunk coming through onto Clawy from QNW.
Yeah, well, you have to question whether or not they try for a dive here. They actually might not have enough damage, but it could be a little ambitious, a little overconfident. But no, they practice their discipline that we've seen throughout the entire day, and top 10 Dino back away.
Yeah, meanwhile, you're from the bot side using the Soul Flare, I believe. Demonic Ascension rather than the Soul Flare on the back to kind of put the damage down onto the Karma.
And Karma backing away now, still doesn't have a teleport, and the rest of the team is actually pushed back, so Swain's going to get some free push over this turret, even though it's a little too high for her to take, I think.
Still getting chip damage is good. You can rinse and repeat and keep this threat up, and the problem is there is no Morale Normal Con just yet for the Karma, so she can't mitigate the healing coming through from the Demonic Ascension on Swain. So in the end, in the side lane, it's a moot point, right? There's no point trading with the Swain as she keeps herself topped up and shoves the wave in. You're gonna have to recall.
Kane going on the bot side though.
Looking for the gang coming in. The knockup is gonna be crucial as the Chinks might make sure it connects, pulling her back in with the passive, but the Empowered Root is gonna keep her topped up still. Man, that is quite an ability there. One more pull back in and a flash up. Oh, overstepping your boundaries there. The Karma misplaying just a little bit.
I was gonna criticize Urif a little bit for not hitting some of the skill shots that you should be hitting, but you know, you end up hitting the ones that matter, and you end up getting that kill with some help from Smubby.
Never move there was crucial in getting the counter kill in the bot lane. Meanwhile, they look to take down the top tier 1. The outer should be falling here, but the flank is imminent. They shouldn't be staying here. They need to back off, get the heck out of dodge, walk away if they can. This is a problem though.
Should be spotted on this ward, so they know they know what's coming, but
Feather Storm being used in a weird position. They're not going to be able to get the Blade Caller back for the root, and now the rest of the team have to collapse to help them out. Hiding back into the jungle might just be the best course of action. Clawy, no, getting caught by the shockwave. They might just find the AD carry first and they get the shutdown to the Zion. Now the fight might turn on its head. Just as I say that, the Swain comes in for the support. There is no one there to give them backup. They trade 3 for 1. I don't know how worth that was, as the Baron is now available to be taken.
Yeah, we really have to question decision making from Nitrous. Your bot lane is dead. They're getting collapsed on by 4 members. Why are you sending Lissandra up? They should be sending Lissandra towards the mid lane to maybe take some health off the turret.
Going for the safe play here, top 10 Dinos just want the Inferno instead, and scaling on that objective is going to be much more worth it when it comes to taking these fights. You can see the Orianna starting to hurt like a truck now, as they move all in onto tunneling down on the mid lane as well as the support. Vayne will dredge line away the Sacrificial Lamb for now. She will have to flash out as well as the teleport comes through. I think they might be overchasing at this point. The Dragon though will be falling soon, and the rest of the top 10 Dinos should be walking mid.
Yeah, real feels bad, man. I mean, they're going in though.
Going in, Chen thinking better of it and just backing off. They're grasping at straws now. They're desperate. They want to pick someone off, but they can't find anything.
Yeah, they definitely don't have to be desperate though. They're only about 4k gold behind. It's by no means insurmountable. Just have to look for, the opportune moments where they can find a favorable fight for themselves.
In that one play, they burnt the teleport advantage that they've gotten in the past.
Yep.
And now Yurif, if she does play in the side lane, will have free reign to pressure them out. So searching for more in the mid lane is the squad of KTR.
Yeah, you do see Ken over here just clearing out vision. You really don't want to give top 10 Dino to the Baron. The Baron right now should be the catalyst for, top 10 Dino to end the game. So obviously, Knightress want to stop that.
Mana Mew completed finally on the Kai'Sa just a second ago. So 25 minutes is one of the slowest that we've seen in a while. Normally, we gauge the timing to be at 21, 22 minutes. But this is largely because of the lull state that we've been into. And not so much a lull state, but rather the back and forth skirmishing, right? In the lull state, you get to CS more. Skirmishing back and forth means that you don't get to charge the Mana Mew as much as you would like to. Zhonya's finally completed for the Lissandra, and these two core items will be crucial here in the fight. If you can lock up the Orianna, make her feel uncomfortable, even lock up the Xayah, it will turn the fight in your favor.
Yeah, it's a very defensive build coming in for the Lissandra, as it should be, really. I mean, she's been look at the CS deficit for her right now. It's not looking too good. So itemizing defensively should allow her to have more effect in these upcoming fights.
Void Seeker in was used to scout out where the enemies were. Just wanted to find out some advanced information, and Chen doesn't get knocked up here. There's a good amount of damage, and the Frozen Tomb in the center of it all on herself. She will get chunked out and the shockwave flashed out away from, but here comes Bubby into the middle of it all. She's taking a good deal of damage, but Yurif will find the kill onto Chloe first, and now buying so much space with the Zhonya's Hourglass is Yurif. They're looking to collapse still as the narrow move is thrown out of Dredge line onto the Karma, and a double kill for Yurif, and it looked like they want more as the depth charge is used on top of Braum. Looking to disengage now and move towards the Baron is side of top 10 Dinos as they collapse there and they choke in a magnificent fashion.
Yeah, good decision from top 10 Dino to back off when they saw Lissandra coming, ends up wasting Chloe's ultimate. So what this allows them to do is take up 3 kills and take the Baron as well. Remember, this is the catalyst from top 10 Dino to go ahead and push for the win.
Chen still here getting caught by the Dredge line, will go down, so no more chance of a steal. It was a valiant effort, you will be remembered, Chen, but unfortunately at the start, walking into the jungle and getting caught out was the catalyst for all of this, so you could say that part of it was her fault at the start.
Yeah, at the moment it's getting bad to worse for Knightress. They're getting way too desperate. They're taking fights that they cannot win, and if they want any chance of getting back this game, they are beginning to have to hunker down and wait for a mistake for top 10 Dino.
This comp does excel at fighting front to back though, so there's your problem. Like if you hunker down as Nautilus and Swain moves up aggressively, your Xayah consistently has space to auto-attack, and if you counter-engage, well, Shockwave is there to stop you. I feel like it is almost a lost cause at this point. 6,000, it doesn't look like a lot, it's not a big margin of deficit, but in terms of how the comps work, it could just be game over here for Knightress if this continues to scale up.
Definitely agree. It's going to be an uphill battle here for Knightress, obviously. Came in through the winner's bracket, but not exactly having the best of times right now as Kian gets chunked out by the Orianna.
I remember hearing inside the studio before a broadcast about, we were talking about who do you think is going to win today. Top 10 Dino were saying that they underestimated Knightress coming in, which is why they dropped the set to them yesterday. This is a rematch of yesterday's games, so now that they are more prepared, it does look like they're in more of a dominant form.
They're definitely coming in here with more preparation as well as a few games to warm up, so we saw the makings of an engage, but top 10 Dino were able to disengage, and Knightress taking a smart position to not overchase.
Death cap is completed for Elima, so these team fight shockwaves are going to be that much more devastating. Overall, all the core items that you do need on your carries are completed, in particular the Orianna as well as the Kayn. It's weird to say the Kayn is a carry, but she's she's been doing a lot of work for her team so far.
Hey, we've seen this story before, I mean, but they're doing the 1-3-1 again with Fury pushing, a little slower in the bot side, but overall this base isn't long for the world as they've already cracked the mid lane, gonna take the inhibitor with no problem, no contest.
You have to give out the mid inhibitor now. You have to defend the top side. There are 3 cannon minions here. If you don't stand and deliver, it's gonna go down eventually as well. It will be Miggy that is responsible for defending, but meanwhile comes the engage, straight up picking the Kayn off. The Plasma Stacks was more than enough to get the kill, and now the depth charge onto the Braum. That's not the target you want. Shockwave was used in a very poor position, and now they have to disengage. Remember I said that this is a front-to-back fight. They still get the kill onto the jungle, but oh, the chunk onto Chloe. 1-for-1, you take my jungle, I'll get your mid laner, and now they're looking to push in as the dredge line is hooked back in. Shin having to flash out a good deal of damage now onto Miggy. Stand behind me, not enough. Might just be the game here. Nitrous are on the back foot. Only 3 members alive in the base as they look to heal up. But meanwhile, top 10 Dinos, your runner-up for Girl Gamer rather, pushing in for the win.
Well, if that fight could have worked if the gold lead wasn't that far ahead, I think the idea was correct. They managed to pick out the Kayn. There was a good deal of damage taken away. But as it stands, the gold lead was way too insurmountable for them to come back, and top 10 Dinos secure their position to FSL Elite.
FSL Elite awaits the top 10 Dinos, and all credit to them from coming back from the lower bracket today. Look at the amount of damage on the Orianna, and it feels like I called this one out early in Champ Select. The reason you don't go for the Lissandra is because of the range difference, and when you give the lane over, right, you just say, I'm gonna take the loss here. Orianna is sure to snowball. Elma has done that time and time again during this tournament. Every time she gets a small lead, she just runs away with it.
Yeah, 100%. I think some of this can be attributed to, mistakes from the laners. I mean, this damage, but over the course of this day, I think the MVP of the day definitely has good odds. Aylama, like this Orianna, this mid laner has been huge and instrumental in top 10 Dinos victories.
We mentioned that earlier today, all eyes on the mid laner, and she did perform to expectations to carry her team. Let's not mince words, it was a carry performance coming in from the Orianna, so congratulations to the top 10 Dinos. We will see you in September for the FSL Elite tournament during, I think, Comex is the event that will be held at in conjunction with EFA, Esports Festival Asia. The details of that will be the 5th and 6th of September for AOV and 7th and 8th September for League of Legends. It will be held at the Suntec Convention Center, Singapore at 12 PM, I think is the start time. But do come down early if you want to get seats. I believe that we will have a seating area available for you. Right now, the teams that have qualified are Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, right? So decent, and Philippines as well, but we didn't cast that, right? So unfortunately, but there are still a decent amount of teams coming in for FSL Elite. The previous FSL Elite was a massive event, super fun. I was casting that with Grandin and Riku, I believe. So this time we're excited and hoping to see you guys there, of course.
Definitely very excited, but yeah, not much else to add. I think
Yeah, once again, thank you guys for tuning into the stream, and if you enjoyed our casting or you just want to flame us, you can follow us right here on our Twitter accounts. I'm HungryCast, and for true fun, it's Spoots, but with an LOL on the end. Before we go and close out the cast, we'd like to shout out our sponsors as well for making all this happen. FSL is at the end of it, a community event, right? This is an entry level for girls to participate and get used to familiar competition. So right now we want to shout out to our sponsors, Dreamcore for the PCs that we use here, our production desk right over there. Super Solid for the monitors that we're looking at and the games that we watch. Aftershock for the PCs and the gaming laptops. Elgato for hardware. Yahoo for once again helping us with all the hosting as well as the stream stuff, and Overdrive for our overlays, which you're looking at right now. Right, so once again, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the 7th and 8th for the League of Legends FSL Elite, and 5th and 6th for AOV. For now, stay tuned to our social media pages for any updates, and of course, we'll hope to hear from you guys soon. Have a good evening, and see you later.